All right. The man has joined us. He's here. It's going down. Judas and the Black Messiah. We got a chance to watch this film in advance. And I must say, I don't know whether I want to hug you and feel empathetic towards your character or choke your character. But LaKeith Stanfield is with us on the Morning Hustle Show. Welcome.
Yeah, maybe choke them and then feel empathetic after.
I know. Look. I must confess, when I first saw like all the trailers for this, I'm thinking I'm going to see the story of Fred Hampton, how things kind of came to be, and then I'm watching it and I see this guy Bill ONeil, and I realize that this is a whole different perspective. We're on for a whole different ride. LaKeith, one, congratulations, you did an excellent job on the role. Did you feel empathy towards Bill ONeil, who actually is an informant that kind of, helps the FBI with killing Fred Hampton?
Thank you. I don't. I think it's a little bit more complicated. I think when initially I heard about Bill ONeil, I was taken aback and thought that I saw him first in the Eyes on the Prize segment in 1990 in his interview. I watched that years ago. Just I used to love documentaries about the Black Panthers, and obviously I studied them and Fred Hampton, Chairman Fred Hampton, in his speeches. So I came across Will ONeil briefly, and I just remember thinking when I first saw him, "Fuck that guy! I hate that guy."
Right.
And it was a similar thing when I realized that I'd be playing him instead of Chairman Fred Hampton in the movie, which is who I thought I'd be playing at first. And Shaka explained that, no, we want you to play William ONeil. And I was like, what? Like, what the why? Can I play extra? Can I be a hat? I don't want to be this. And I was really taken aback by it. But then after a while, I read the script a couple more times, and I realized it might be a unique opportunity and chance to and a challenge actually for me to be able to take on this role and challenge myself to get over my own judgments and biases. And it wasn't until I watched the long form interview he did for Eyes on the Prize, the unedited and uncut version, it was just over an hour long, that I got an indication, because he said in the interview, actually, I felt bad about what I did, but I had to continue to play the role. So then I understood that, okay, there's a little bit more dynamics to this person, and I can actually make him more human and still
Yes.
being accurate to what he said he felt. So I just tried to, do that. And then me and Shaka wanted to find a balance to the character. So that way he didn't come off as just a spooky villain, but actually maybe somebody who had more layers to him.
Yeah, LaKeith, it seems like a lot of times, good and bad is always a matter of perspective. And, Bill ONeil ended up being a pawn being played by the FBI, who by the end of the movie, these were the bad guys. You know what I mean? Like at no point in time were they ever brought to justice and anything like that. What do you say to that? Just because like the parallels that exist in this film, this stuff is still going on now. And it hasn't really been too, only thing that changes the hairstyles, the clothes, and the cars. Same stuff is still going on.
Yeah. That's when, at the end of the day, people can walk away from this film seeing who the real villain is, hopefully, and realizing that, the government is the one that really caused these two young men to lose their lives in such a tragic way when you really think about it. And that's not to excuse what Bill did, and it's not to try and cheapen it. He definitely made mistakes that I find super reprehensible and negative. But I challenge people to think about seriously and deeply who they feel they're more aligned with in terms of how they live their lives, William ONeil or Chairman Fred Hampton. Because I'm concerned, I'm of the thought that more people are like William ONeil than Chairman Fred Hampton in terms of wanting to save their selves and look out for themselves first and acquire money and worth and status and power and give to themselves before they give to others. Out of a million people, maybe one or two are like Chairman Fred Hampton, where they really want to give outwardly instead of always inside. So I challenge people to think about that.
Yeah, your character, how it opens up is kind of wild too. His pretending to be an officer in order to kind of rob people. Can you speak a little bit on your ability to hotwire a car? How you learned? Were you learning in preparation for this role? What did you have to learn? New things that you picked up?
Yeah, I was actually watching a lot of like old shows from the 1960s and how they kind of talk like this. Hey, come with me down here. We're going to the spot. I tried to incorporate that into that opening sequence, and And there was actually a guy on set who I think was just a crew member who knew how to hotwire a car randomly. So he just taught me how to do it on a random. And so I was like, okay, now I randomly know how to hotwire a car. So if you see your car gone, it wasn't me. I'm just saying I know.
Got you. Now, LaKeith, on a personal level, I gotta ask you, what fuels you? Because like there is a fire behind you on screen and in real life. Like as I'm watching the movie, and one thing that was just so intense about you is the look in your eyes the entire time in the film. And I know that wasn't necessarily just acting, because I remember one time I was walking down the street in Atlanta and you was on Edgewood and you were walking down the street and I didn't bother you because you had fire in your eyes and a purpose. And it just seems like, anytime you are on with like laser beam focus. What moves you? What is your what is the battery in your back, LaKeith?
The will to continue again. I've been through a lot of stuff, so but I press forward regardless. I think that's probably what you're seeing is just my will to continue and move past the obstacles, no matter what. Obstacles they just represent lessons, and if it don't break you, it make you. So I just try not to let too much bog me down and continue to push forward. That being said, I have a lot of things to work through that I haven't really addressed and challenged in my upbringing and youth, which is things that I'm exercising now, using things like therapy that are helping me get through and siphon all those things. So I'm not always carrying so much on my back. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of things, so you might get an indication of that through my eyes.
I could tell it, but it does so much for the characters you play. I believe them all. Every time I see you do something like, yo, I believe it. When you played the brother in Brooklyn that got wrongly accused, for that crime back in the day, like believed it.
Yeah,
Even in Atlanta, believe it every time, man. Like, yo, stellar work, man.
thank you very much.
Also wanted to ask too about people have really appreciated you on Clubhouse, in particular your ability to kind of jump in on different rooms. One of the comments I've seen is that like they appreciate that a lot of times celebrities like to be in celebrity rooms, but you'll go into other rooms and have dialogue with people. What has been your experience with Clubhouse, and are you going to be having any conversations with people about this movie Judas and the Black Messiah?
Yeah, I think it's a unique form of communication that is new to me and quite fun at times and really engaging in others. I was just in a room last night that was about fatherhood. And so I was talking to a bunch of older Black men who have been fathers for much longer than I've been, who were telling me, just giving me really great tips and advice and, good just context and understanding for what it means to be a father. That means a lot. And I really appreciated that room. It became one of my favorite ones.
Mm.
And then there are rooms like, like Moan rooms or rooms that are funny or rooms that don't mean much of anything that I like to go into and just like laugh and like, have a good time. So I think you can have anything, there's a large spectrum there that's available. So I find it quite fun. So yeah, you catch me on there sometimes jumping in and out of rooms. But yeah, I definitely don't care about the stupid ego stuff. Like that's just like, who cares who you are? It's just about having a conversation.
In honor of you, in one of those days where you went into the moaning room, we was the moaning hustle, and we had a moaning contest on air, and we used your audio as reference to like how like it was supposed to go, man. You're impacting people in many ways. So before you go, man, movies called Judas and the Black Messiah. If you had to tell people in 30 seconds or less why they need to go see it, what would you say?
First, I got to comment on the Moan thing because I must make a distinction that wasn't actually my voice. So we have to give credit to the real moaner. I just played a track and pretended like it was me moaning. Shouts out to that voice actor you can find on YouTube. If you just type in "man moaning," you'll hear my famous. But yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah coming soon, and I hope everyone enjoys on the 12th. And I hope we can move some people and open up dialogue and introduce some people to the great man and story that was Chairman Fred Hampton.
Yo, man, keep doing the work, man. One time for the brother right here, LaKeith Stanfield. Go get it, baby. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you.
We are the Morning Hustle.